What's up, YouTube? Welcome to today's video where we are going to discuss a topic that is really big and has been big for me for many, many years since I learned about this concept. And it is, how can we overcome our lizard brain? Well, what even is a lizard brain and why is it worth even discussing? Stay tuned, make sure you listen all the way to the end because I'm going to teach you how this one aspect of our minds and our brains is probably holding you back from reaching your full potential as a man. But before we get into this video, make sure you subscribe because I'm pumping out multiple videos per week to men just like you that want to build themselves and become the best version of themselves. And that's exactly what we're going to learn about in today's video. So I became aware of the lizard brain when I read this book many years ago called Linchpin by the author Seth Godin, I forget how to pronounce his name, but essentially the lizard brain is part of our limbic system in our brains that controls a lot of the things such as fear, such as, our hunger, our, desire to reproduce. A lot of the things that we think about other reptiles and things, and they're so controlled by their desires and their urges, and we like to think of ourselves as humans as we are above this, we've evolved past this. But realistically, this ancient wiring in our brains is responsible for a lot of the bad decisions, a lot of the problems that we cause ourselves in life. And now this part of the brain, the lizard brain, is really the amygdala that controls a lot of these things that I was talking about. Why is this important and why are we even discussing this? Why am I talking about this? Why did I make a video about this? Well, if you think about it, a lot of the things I just mentioned, fear, sex drive, and hunger are, when not managed correctly, can destroy you as a human being, okay? Let's break these all down one by one. Let's start with fear, okay? The amygdala is responsible for the fight, flight, or freeze mechanism in your brain, right? So you are running through the woods in ancient times and you're being chased by a bear, okay? The response from the, amygdala is to be either running or you stay and fight or you freeze, right? That's what the amygdala is responsible for. I know I used the example of running through the woods, but let's say you come face to face with the bear and the bear's there. This is where the amygdala just snaps in. There's a reaction and we flee, okay? Now, as you can see, that is very, very important for us in certain aspects of life because it preserves us and it's what's helped us to survive and become a species that has dominated this earth, right? So it has served us in very good ways. But, and you'll see this with all of these different aspects we're going to talk about right now that's part of this lizard brain, is that when they're applied to our modern world, the wiring of this part of our brain doesn't really make sense, or it is misattributed, I guess is the word I'm looking for, and projected onto things that it certainly should not be. So that fear mechanism can happen. I mean, I'm somebody that's dealt with really bad anxiety before. I would get like extremely triggered and go fight or flight over, seemingly really, really minimal stuff. I wasn't, if you've ever been in a really high anxiety time in your life, high stress time, you will see just how active this part of your brain can be. You will be triggered and afraid of the most insane things. I mean, I remember when I was going through this really, really hard time in my life, I was scared to get on an airplane. I've flown my whole life. I've never been scared to get on an airplane. But I would get on an airplane and start panicking, right? I would, just have these insane reactions to things that, quite honestly, I never even thought twice about before. I was never scared of before. But for some reason, at that time in my life, it was a very transformative time. This part of my brain was highly, highly active, and it was trying to, keep me secure and safe, I guess, is the word that I'm looking for. But it was completely, the response and what would happen was completely out of proportion to what was actually going on. And you can think about this too from the standpoint of the fear mechanism that keeps us grounded into living a life that's beneath what we should be or could be living, whether that is taking a risk and going and starting a business for yourself, or approaching that girl in the gym and you won't do it because you're scared of rejection. You won't start the business because you're scared of failing. You won't, take a risk of some sort because this part of your brain is telling you, hey, we're safe and secure the way we are. We don't need to go do this thing. But again, this part of our brain cannot see far into the future. That's where these more modern, when I say modern, obviously this is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution. these more modern parts of our brain, we do have the ability to conceptualize and see that if we make this sacrifice or if we take this risk, that it can in fact pay off for us in the future. The fear that's holding us back, whatever that might be, is definitely keeping us from living out our full potential. So the fear mechanism is just one part of this brain. Now let's touch on another part, which is the hunger aspect. Now, the hunger aspect is fun for me to talk about right now because I am 6 weeks at the moment from recording this from competing for my pro qualifier to turn pro in classic physique. Now, when you're dieting very hard, you will be hungrier than you could possibly believe. And the reason this happens is because your body fat levels are reaching such low points that the entire system wiring in our bodies and our brains is trying to signal to me, hey Dave, you need to go eat because if you don't eat, we're gonna die, right? So there's all these hormones and these things that take place that are trying to get me to go eat something. Whether that's between meals, in the middle of the night, whatever it is, this wiring of our brains is trying to get us to eat food because it doesn't want us, we don't want to die. This goes far beyond just dieting hard for, a bodybuilding competition. This is also true as it pertains to a lot of other aspects of life. One of the things that will undo you as a man more than anything is your lack of ability to control what you put in your mouth. The foods you put into your body, the things that, are fueling you, because what you do put in your body from a food standpoint, 100% will dictate how you look as well as how you feel. And if you want to be performing at your top level as a man and reaching your full potential, eating the right way is essential. Not overeating, not eating the wrong foods. These are all important things, of course. Whether you're trying to build your physique, live healthy, or just become the best man you can, what you put in your mouth is highly, highly, important. Now, because of the way we're wired and because of evolution, we're highly drawn to these very, very fatty, load-laden foods. We're drawn to sugar and we're drawn to sodium. Companies have gotten very good at designing foods. Yes, I said designing because a lot of this stuff is processed to play on these systems in our brains with sugar, fat, and sodium. And because we're so wired for that, that's why some of these things just taste so damn good, is because of the fact that these companies understand this research that I'm literally telling you about right now, and they're designing foods. They're trying to hijack that system and make sure that you are buying more of their products because they want to make a better, profit. But it doesn't help you. It's only hurting you. So just understand that. And understand that the hunger signaling that you're getting a lot of times to go eat these foods is because of the way that your brain's been programmed, and you can change that. If you change the way you eat, your palate will change and you'll find yourself craving different things, okay? So that's very important to understand. In each one of these aspects, the fear, the hunger, and the one I'm going to talk about now, which is your sex drive and libido, I can make separate videos about all of them, and I might in the future. But it's very important to understand a little bit about all of these and how the amygdala, the lizard brain, is trying to hijack you and derail you from where you really want to get in life. So let's talk about sex drive. This is maybe the biggest one for us men. This is probably, for most of us men, is probably our biggest kryptonite. We do a lot of dumb stuff to get with women. It's hardwired into us. If it was not hardwired into us to reproduce, there wouldn't be 7 billion people on this planet, guys, which is just an obvious thing. And as I said before, these mechanisms in our brain, if you think about it, the fear, the hunger, and now the sex drive aspect I'm talking about, is why we're here today. If we didn't have fear, we wouldn't be able to protect ourselves from threats. If we didn't have hunger, we would starve to death. If we didn't have high desire to reproduce, there wouldn't be 7 billion of us, as I just said. The problem is with all of these is that they do serve a purpose, but when that purpose is, again, misattributed, misused in today's modern world, it's not really serving us to do that. And you can think about this aspect with the sex drive thing as thinking with the wrong head, right? And we've all done it, and I certainly am probably more susceptible to this aspect of what I'm talking about here than any of the other ones. What you'll find is that a lot of the times, this aspect is going to derail you more than anything, because what'll happen is when you are grinding on your purpose in life, all it takes is for some super hot 10 to walk past you and you forget about everything that matters, and all you want to do is just get inside of her, be with her, because she's stunningly beautiful, and that is what your DNA wants you to do, is to pass your DNA along with her and create this amazing offspring that will carry on your genes. That is really what's going on here, okay? That is basically what's taking place at a deeper level inside of you when you see girls like that. So just understand that, okay? You're literally built for that. There's a reason why you're drawn to that, okay? So just accept that and understand that. There's nothing wrong with you. That's a very normal thing. I remember when I was younger and I feel that way. I felt very guilty about that. I felt very wrong about that and all this different stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to understand that if you give too much power to any one of these things, the fear, the hunger, or your sex drive, it will be your undoing. It will be your undoing. I usually find with most men that I work with, that are my clients, for my coaching company, I help guys build their physiques and transform their lives. I find that every man struggles with one of the three of these, and some men struggle with all of the three of these. I have struggled with all of these at one point in my life or another. Whichever one at the time is kind of rising to the surface more, I'll notice. And like right now, for example, I'm dealing most with the sex drive one. So I'm battling against that. As I mentioned, I'm working on getting my pro card in classic physique. Well, with that comes the fact that I have to use, anabolic substances, and those will definitely heighten your sex drive. It's about understanding that and how to punch through that and get beyond that, because we don't want to live in this lizard level of reptilian brain existence. We want to transcend that, and we want to be better men. We want to self-actualize and build ourselves into men that are worthy of achieving the goals and the dreams we have for ourselves. And the only way you can do that, the only way that you're going to get to where you want to be from where you are right now, and I don't know where that is for you, but you have to learn how to corral, how to work with these aspects of your brain that are going to try to undo you. I promise you that you are experiencing these things strongly in ways that you probably don't even realize. Like I said, some people, their kryptonite is they can't drive past fast food. They have to eat, KFC when they drive past it. I'm just making this up. Or they're so afraid of approaching that girl, and maybe that girl likes them that they see in the gym, but they'll never know because they are scared to go do that. I've been there before many, many times. Or maybe it's that you just keep getting distracted from the things you actually should be focused on because you're too busy trying to swipe on Tinder to go get a new piece of ass. Whatever it is, guys, I promise you that you're probably struggling with one, if not all three of these things. And the fact of the matter is, the only way for you to level yourself up and to become that next level of man you want to become is to work with and understand just how much these are affecting you. I could go on about this for probably the next hour and a half, 2 hours, but I just want to give you a brief overview of that. So look for these things in your life. See how the fear is presenting itself to you. See how your hunger is affecting you. See how your sex drive is affecting you. All of these things are fine in and of themselves. It's normal to have fear about things. It's normal to be hungry. It's normal to have sex drive. But you have to think about it like this. Are you in control or are they in control of you? It's a very simple question, but it's very worth exploring with yourself. Because if they're in control of you, you're not going to get where you want to get in your life. I can guarantee you that much. So I thank you guys for sticking with me through this video. I hope this was enlightening. I hope you learned some stuff here. I hope you go out and don't just listen to what I'm saying. I hope you actually apply this in your life. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. And I will see you guys in that next video. Have a great day or night, depending on whenever you're watching this.